at my Vagabond II, which is an awesome power pack, by the way. Retails for $299. Has its own inverter. I believe the output is 900 watt pure sine wave. That's very important. You see the connectors down here, and comes with 20 amp hour 12 volt sealed lead battery. Alright. So for $300, this is a great deal. But what I like about it especially is the fact that the bag straps onto the stand. So not only does it provide power, but it also acts as a weight so that the stand doesn't blow away or fall over as easily. Obviously sandbags are the preferred method, but this definitely weighs it down because this has some weight to it. So I was thinking to myself, well, it would be nice to have a battery pack per stand, but at $300 a pop, that gets pretty pricey. So I set out to try to find the parts to construct my own inverter. And this is what I came up with. As you can see, I bought the same bag from Paul Buff, the Vagabond II bag, just because it's the perfect size, it's a very small footprint, and it also has these key clips right here that let you clip it to the side of the stand. So let's check out what I have here. Also with this, make sure you ask them for the plastic battery covers too as well. With this, I have the GFIC, GCIF, I always get those confused, ground fault circuit interrupter. Basically, this is the same thing you have on your hair dryer when you dry your hair. If you accidentally drop it in the tub or drop it in the sink, it'll break the circuit before it electrocutes you. This was a main key element. I constructed one of these a couple of years ago, but this was my only flaw, is having to plug in a ground into the bottom, actually plugging a ground into the ground. This little puppy right here cost me about 15 bucks. Has a little pigtail here. You plug it directly into the inverter like that, and then you plug it into here, which is nice because you're not having a lot of stress by unplugging and plugging this in here. Okay, so I bought an inverter. It's 150 watt pure sine wave. Obviously, it's a little less powerful than the 900 or the 600 watt, whichever the one from Paul Buff is. But this only costs $99, whereas if you bought that one from Paul Buff, it would cost you $199. So this was definitely a good deal. I had to rig up an inline fuse. You always want to have things fused. This is a 40 fuse hooked with this connector here. I'll have the links all on the actual site and YouTube video where you can get all these things. These connectors are great because it has a red and a black, and it can only plug into the red and the black. So it's kind of idiot proof. I had to splice here, that came out of here, put them together with these 12 to 10 amp gauge crimp things, and also I like it because you heat them up and they attach to the actual wire itself, so it's sort of weatherproof as far as no water getting in, and it's a pretty snug fit. Alright, so that's the inverter. And now for the battery. This is a Powersonic. I tend to like these. I've gotten a lot of these. This is a 12 volt 18 amp hour one versus the 20 amp hour. I believe the battery on Paul Buff is anywhere from 60 to 80 bucks. This one was only $30, so this was a really good deal. Once again, I have these connectors. I got them from Skycraft. They have the red and black. They are a 10 gauge wire, and as you can see, the way they're attached, they're screwed onto here by a nut and a bolt, bent, and then just shaped, tagged here, so everything's sort of a neat little install. So that's what's in this bag. I'm going to give you a listing of everything and where you can buy it and whatnot. So this basically a whole package, the wires, the ground fault interrupting circuit, the bag here, and the 150 watt pure sine wave inverter, I think 300 watt peak. Altogether this was about $170 versus $300, so it's a pretty good deal. Now the only downfall is that you need to charge this battery. So what I use is the Battery Tender Plus right here. Now this unit I believe is about 40-50 bucks. Now I have a lot of different batteries, so that's why I purchased this. So now you're up to around, you know, 210. So you're getting really close to the cost of the Vagabond II. However, with this particular system that I have in here, I can now introduce this big boy battery here with the same system, so everything is universal, same plugs, but this big old battery is 35 amp hour. So let's say I'm out in the field, I'm doing a lot of shoots, and I'm having to bring in some big guns. Instead of having to bring in a big gas generator or whatever, I can get a couple of these big old batteries and they'll make the strobes last a while. So that's what I kind of like about that. This back right here is actually a fishing fly tackle lure bag. So as you can see, it fits the battery perfectly. And yeah, so as you can see with these little plastic things here, the battery is the same size as the default factory battery from Paul Buck. It fits right in there nicely. These particular wires kind of go tuck them down from the side. Also, I need to build a unit that keeps this off of the bottom so that air can actually flow here. That is on my next to-do list with this particular build here. So that shoves into there. These tuck down in the corner here. And as you can see, no, it doesn't fit that way. So you're never going to be able to push it that way. Turn them upside down, boom, locks in. It's a very secure connection. It's not going to come loose. You got to give it some effort to pull loose right here. So that shoves into there. Obviously, I leave them unconnected. This is off. It's one thing with the Paul Buff is it's connected all the time, and you see a little green pilot light, which I'm not sure I like. I'm not sure of the battery drain. I'm sure it's insignificant, but I just like to make sure all my gear is not connected. This one, you can get these at Lowe's for about 10 bucks. It's a little different model. It doesn't have the pigtail. So you can just check around for those. I'll give you some links too. This fits fairly snugly right here. Actually, the pigtail I usually push down to this side. And this is up a little bit, but it's fairly flush, so it gives me enough room to go through. And boom, there you go. It's all linked up. So for around 170 bucks, I made 3 of these, including this one. So now I have 4 altogether with my original one. So now I can have 4 light stands with independent power sources, so that there's no cords going around outside. Because like I said, cords get all dirty. People are walking back and forth. You don't want to trip over any cords. Heaven forbid, stand were to fall out there. Even if you have weights on there, the cords are a major issue. So this is kind of how I solved it. It's a little more pricey, obviously, than using one power source. But I think if you're doing big shoots and they leave a small enough footprint, I think it's the way to go.